Hello, and wow, that was a horrible intro. Hi everyone, I'm Squall, and this is Starcraft 2. Once again, we are going to follow the Aspire team as they journey through another Team League match. In the last Team League, we did see them fall in very sad and unfortunate fashion to Team Light, and in the final video I mentioned that I wasn't actually sure if there was going to be more, or if it was like a 7-kill elimination tournament, but don't worry, it's not. It's in group play right now, so the teams that perform the best will of course then go and be seeded into the finals. And I'm not 100% sure of the format and how many teams get seeded and all that shenaniganry. All I know is everyone plays everyone, and the people that get the most wins get seeded. So there is most definitely a chance for VVV to come back and get into the finals and make a good showing. So once again, this is the Aspire team, part of VVV Gaming. Today, in this first match, we do have VVV Poser, a noble and gallant Protoss player, and he's going up against Wins. And Wins, he's part of the Team PewPew. Apparently that's the name they went into, that they put down going to this team league. And it's a smaller team league. This could very well be something as simple as a bunch of friends got together and were like, hey, let's make a team and do this team league. That'd be fun. Which would kind of explain the lack of a clan tag on his name and things of that nature. So I have no objection to that. This is a video game, so it is indeed supposed to be about fun. The reason we all got into video games in the first place, I hope. I feel bad for anyone that's like, I'm going to play video games so I can be a pro player and make millions of dollars, and then they hate their life because they don't actually enjoy video gaming. How sad would that be? Like a pro player comes in, starts playing really well, and then in some interview someone asks him so how much fun do you have playing Starcraft? He's like, I don't, I hate it. And everyone's just like, what is this? A pro player that doesn't enjoy the game? And don't get me wrong, I'm not claiming that pro players enjoy playing the game all the time, if it is their job, then there will be days when, you're not going to enjoy it, because that's kind of how jobs are. Sometimes you don't want to work, but you do it because you want to earn a living and, have food on the table and not die of starvation and things of that nature, right? So, but I would certainly hope that, the vast majority of pro gamers got into pro gaming because they played video games like, this is really fun, this is an important thing to me, and eventually, moving on to pursuing it as a career, which to me is the coolest thing in the world. If when I was 10 or 12, when I was in high school and stuff, if somebody had told me, I bet you that in 5-10 years there will be people playing video games for a living, I probably would have laughed. Actually, I wouldn't have laughed. I was an insecure kid. I probably would have gone, oh, that'd be cool, and then I would have secretly thought to myself, wow, that's never going to happen, because that would be way too awesome. But then it totally did, so I'm happy about that. Fortunately, no one said that to me, because if they did, then I would now be ashamed of my lack of faith in the human race and in gaming in general. Wynn's gonna try to get up there with his SCV again, but nope, get shut down by the soccer. Pretty sure he saw that there's an expansion. Yep, he did. So he knows that is going up, but that's pretty typical. And Wynn, I think went for a 1-rack gasless FE. Yeah, based on the gas in those geysers, the command center went down before the gases. So, pretty typical thus far. I figure I'll start actually casting the game now as opposed to just talking about random stuff, because, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And Poser getting a robo up relatively quickly. 3-gate robo. Pretty darn typical. Gonna poke at the front just a tiny bit, but I doubt he's gonna do too much. Might be able to pick off a Marine or two, or at the very least deal a little bit of damage. That's always nice. Shields regenerate, Marine's health do not. Until you get medevacs, but, it's not like shields where, look at that, they're just regenerating. Isn't that awesome? And I was just distracted because I remembered reading the Heart of the Swarm beta patch notes earlier, and I figured this is something I can talk about during the early part of the game where there isn't a lot going on. But apparently now Reapers have the ability to see up cliffs. How cool is that, man? Oh. And then the Warhound was removed from the game. For the record, I don't think the Warhound being removed from the beta is permanent. I think Blizzard's just taking it out for a little while because they want to retune it and kind of figure out how to incorporate it without it being totally OP. You know, to the point where it was completely crushing Protoss no matter what. The Oracle got changed in a cool way. It used to have Preordain, which would give it vision of a building, but that's been removed and now it's been replaced by this like Guardian Field type thing, where everything in a certain radius will be protected from certain negative effects for a while, like fungal growth. If fungal growth goes down and this like field of protection is up, it won't hit. It won't affect anything. So that certainly has the potential to be incredibly cool. And, you know, I can even see that reducing the Protoss reliance on Mothership Vortex in the late game in ZVP a little bit. You know, because then they can put that down, and now their Stalkers still have mobility, and they don't necessarily have to get that Vortex to kill the late-game Zerg army. But anyways, I thought that was cool. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just check out Husky Starcraft's latest video. He talked about it in there, and he reads through the patch notes, so that's cool. Anyways, Wins posturing out front with a fairly beefy Bio Ball. He does have Stim done, so that's going to be a little bit scary. And Poser doesn't have a lot of stuff at this point. And Wins going to swing down around through this ramp here. But fortunately, Poser on top of his Observer movement knows what's going on. But looks like Wins is content to just leave a Marine there and watch for an expansion. But Poser is moving up to Colossi. I think he already has one. Yes, he does. There it is. Cool. Colossi are awesome, man. And I do have to admit, the first time I saw them, I was like, dude, War of the Worlds. Totally looked like those aliens in War of the Worlds, the Steven Spielberg version. They walked around those huge legs. I mean, these Colossi don't shoot out like tubes and drain people of blood. Which was horrible. But, they look similar. Yep, more gateways going up for Poser. Chrono Boost and out Thermal Lance. And Wins already started his Viking production. Only has 2 Vikings out for the moment. But will likely continue that so that way he has a way to deal with Colossi. Very typical and fantastic. You know, I'm sure for some players and casters too, maybe like just kind of like, oh, another standard macro game where the Terran goes Bio Viking and the Protoss goes Doom Ball with Colossi. But you know what? I still enjoy it. You know, I certainly enjoy it more than I did the tank line wars of very early TVT. You know, that just wasn't interesting in the slightest to me. And sometimes it's cool to see these very tried and true sort of strategies and builds, and just seeing how well the player executes it. And even if they try, like, you know, something unique, like throwing in ghosts a little bit here and there, things like that, I enjoy it. But you know what, that's because I enjoy StarCraft 2 in general. I'm sure even if I, you know, cast it back when TVT was literally nothing but tank line wars, I would have still enjoyed it. And, you know, that does still happen from time to time, but it's a bit more variable than it used to be. And there is the potential for one player to go bio and try to outmaneuver his opponent. But anyways, so Poser still just being defensive, has 3 Colossi now, so getting pretty close to that very scary point where he can kind of walk forward and murder infinity Marines and Marauders. Hasn't reached that point yet, and Wins is getting more Vikings. So, although making medevacs with this round, so yeah, okay, there we go. Vikings coming after. And the supplies reasonably even, Wins up just a little bit. But, that can easily be equalized by, well, Colossi are amazing. +1 ground attack for the Protoss, about to finish up. Wins already has +1 attack, but does not have armor. So, for all intents and purposes, both players are roughly equivalent at this point. The scan goes down, informs Wins of 100% of everything that Poser has as far as the army goes. Charge is on the way, but is quite a ways off, so if an attack hits before that's done, Poser's army won't be nearly as potent as he would like. Looks like he's moving out to meet this, though. I don't know how good of a decision to... Okay, good. He's pulling back. Yeah, he wants to force the Terror to try to get up this ramp and be able to cut it up with force fields. But it looks like Wind is just going to kind of scoot around the side and hit it on this third. And Poser will be able to react in time. He doesn't have an observer up here, so he doesn't know where this army is moving. He is moving them around now, trying to get a sense of where the army is, but he might lose this Nexus before it is even finished. That would be unfortunate indeed. The Vikings show up, though, show their hand, potentially trying to scoot forward to snipe some Colossi, but here we go. Bioforce moving in. The stim will go down at any second now. There we go. There's the stim. I don't know about Poser's positioning here, but these photon cannons doing a little bit of damage, buying some time, but it looks like Poser doesn't feel like he can engage into that. Oh no, he's retreating, and you losing Colossi to the Bio Ball. Very unfortunate for Poser. And where has his Colossi production gone? Oh man, he's down to only one. And Winds has very effectively denied the third. Poser, a bit of trouble here. Charge is done, so that will make his counterattack significantly more powerful. But Winds, well, he's already got a third. He's throwing down 2 more command centers. As a well-known caster has often said, when ahead, get more ahead. And I don't know if Poser is going to be able to stop this. Oh, he wanted to switch into Templar, maybe? Or he's getting Archons. I'm not sure what he's doing with this mix here. Yeah, like it looks like he wanted to fake him out by getting some Colossi and then switching into Templar. But he doesn't have Storm or anything, so... Well, we'll see. Guardian Shield goes down. Zealots charging forward, getting good surface area. The Bio microing back as best they can. Wow, the Archons blasting the Vikings down the sky in absolutely no time. There are 2 Colossi now. The Bio Ball forcing forward, picks off all the Colossi, and oh no. Poser's army is absolutely evaporating here. He is forced to fall back. Archon is going to deal some damage, but it gets killed quite quickly. The Zealots doing the best they can, but Poser just isn't able to warp stuff in fast enough to equalize this. And I think game 1 may go to PewPew. Poser loses his Nexus. The probes running away very gallantly, as they have been programmed to do. And Poser looks like he's going to try to make a last stand, but Winds almost triples his supply at this point. And Winds just has such an enormous advantage. I really can't see Poser coming back from this. Not that I don't have faith in Poser, don't get me wrong. I just know how difficult these sorts of positions are, and Winds is just going to fall back, I guess, regroup his forces. I assume he will make another push shortly, because Poser is so far behind this point. Look at this, he's almost mined out. 15 minerals left on that mineral patch? Yeah, that's not long for this world. Watch what happens when it mines out, it just disappears. There's no cool animation, it's just gone. And Storm is being researched, but sadly, gonna be too little too late. And here we go, Poser's desperate last stand. The Zealots doing quite well for themselves, but yeah, they get cleaned up. And there's the GG. Winds throws down the GG as well. Very sad. So yeah, game 1 does go to PewPew. Please join me in game 2 to see who VVV throws out next, and if they can take it back and make it 1-1.